Hello and welcome to this video tutorial explaining how to create field sheets using forestplots.net. Okay, so the first thing to do is log into forestplots.net and then go to the My Plots list and search for the plot that you're going to remeasure, which you would like to create a field sheet for. If the plot is new and so it's not in the database yet, simply go to the Forestplots website, into Resources, and then in the Field section, scroll down to Field Sheet Template for New Plots, and simply download that, and it should already be in the correct format to print and use. But for plots that are being remeasured, that are already in forestplots.net, look for them in your My Plots list, and then go to Data Export for the plot. Here you can see there's lots of options for downloading data. There's Generate Tree Field Sheet, Generate Liana Field Sheet, Generate Combined Tree and Liana Field Sheet. So if your plot contains both trees and lianas, we recommend using this combined format. So click Go, and the Excel field sheet will be downloaded. You can open it. Okay, here we are. So the first worksheet is the metadata. You can see it's all blank, ready for you to collect, and you should be able to just print that, and it'll be in the correct size and format to print on, double-sided on A4. The next worksheet is the tree field sheet. So this contains all the trees in the plot. Each row is a stem. You can see the tree information is to the left of the page, so tag number, previous tag number if it's had more than one tag number, subplot information, tree X and Y, family and species. And then to the right of the page we've got the census information. So the field sheet template will only include the last 3 censuses. So anything, if your plot has more than three censuses, that information won't be included. So it's just the latest 3 censuses that are included in the field sheet download. So there's diameter for 2006, 2009 and 2012. We've got diameter upon flag 1 and 2, height broken at flag 3 and 4. And then further along to the right is the information that we're going to be collecting this census. So you can see these columns are blank because that's what we're going to be recording. And further along still, we've got this column, Tree ID. This is a really important column. This is what will allow you to upload your data to forestplots.net to link each stem with the database. So this column is really important, and we need not to delete it or mix up the sorting. This is essential for matching the data to the database later after we've collected it. Okay, because this is a combined tree and liana field sheet, you can see there are these extra lines here that don't contain a tree ID, that simply say liana. So the way that Forestplots stores the data and manages the data is that the tree data and the liana data are stored separately. But these liana markers, so they mark in the tree field sheet where we should be looking for a liana, and it's done based on T1. But please don't enter any data here. These rows are just to remind us that when you get to this part of the plot, you need to check your liana field sheet, which is downloaded separately here, and it's called liana field sheet. But back to the trees for now. So once we have downloaded the data, the first thing to do is make sure that it's sorted in a logical sequence. So however it's going to be easiest for you to use in the field, and that will depend on your plot design. So you need to know a bit about your plot, most rainfall standard plots, we recommend that you sort by T1 and then by tag. But this is entirely up to you. It's whatever's going to be most useful to you in the field, and it will depend on your plot design. So we'll custom sort all the entire rows. I'm going to sort by T1 and then tag. Okay, that's done. So that's the first job, sorting in an appropriate order. And now we want to try and fit as much as we can on one page. There's a lot of information here. It's all important to us in the field, but we need to make sure that we use our space efficiently. So just make any columns smaller that are unnecessarily big, and vice versa. Try and be efficient with space. Okay, we need all of this information in the field to check our current measurements when we're taking them, but we don't necessarily need the height information for the last census, so I'll hide that. It's useful to have flag 3 and 4 in the field because we can see if it's a real measurement, if it's an estimate, those sorts of things. So I think they're important columns, so I'll leave those in. Okay, here we'll make sure we've got enough space to record the information, so I'm just going to make the diameter column a bit bigger. And now we need to consider what data are we actually going to be collecting during this field trip. Definitely diameter and POM and flags 1 and 2, but are you going to be collecting height? If so, leave it in. If not, we can hide those columns, give us a bit more space. Height broken at, that can easily be recorded in census notes and then transferred into this column when we get back, so I'm going to hide that. Liana index, crown illumination index and crown formation. Is the team going to be collecting this data during this campaign? If so, leave them in. If not, get rid of those columns, give us more space. Make that a bit smaller. Okay, I think I'm happy with my column widths. Okay, so now we just need to adjust the settings of our page layout to make sure that everything, when we print the field sheets out, everything fits on one page. So the easiest way to do this is using page layout in Excel. So I'm just going to highlight all of the cells that we want in the field. We don't actually need tree ID or these few cells to the right of tree ID. We don't actually need them in the field, so I'm not going to print them out, so it gives us a bit more space on the page, but we will need them when we come to enter the data into this file after the field. For now, move those, select all of the cells to print. There we go. And then in page layout, we want to set the orientation to landscape, and we want to set the print area, and we want to set the width to one page. Okay, another useful thing to do is to set the margins of your page, so that, again, using space efficiently. So in page setup, go to margins. I think it's good to have lots of space at the bottom of each page so you can write in the recruit that's in the field, a little bit of space at the top as well, and less space at the sides so you've got more room for what you're actually printing out. Okay, so we've sorted the margins, we've sorted the page layout. So now you can see these break lines here where each page will print, and there's quite a few rows per page, so I'm just going to increase the row height a bit. We recommend having no more than 30 rows per page, just so that you can easily read all the information in the field. Good, that's better, nice and clear. Other things you can do to make things clear are to put in the borders of all your cells. That's easily done. Select them and then add all borders. Okay, another thing to do is just check that any text in the census notes column from the previous census, I think we've just got one cell in this file, just check that you can read all of the text. So maybe reduce the size but still make sure you can read it, maybe format the cells and wrap them, and just increase the height of those individual cells so that you've got all of the information when you're in the field. Another thing you might find useful, again in page layout, is to insert footers. So I've inserted the plot code, that it's trees here, and the page numbers. So if I drop the field sheets in the field, I can easily put them back together in the right order. So that's it, the tree field sheet is ready to print, as is the metadata. So now we've just got to look at the lianas. So it's exactly the same. First we need to sort the rows in the same order that we sorted the trees, so in this case subplot and then tag. Yeah. And then make sure that the columns are an appropriate width and we can read all of the information. Again, we can see the last 3 censuses. We don't need the flag 3s and 4s. Check these are all the same size. And then format our print area. So layout, landscape, set print area, and width as 1 page. And make those more appropriate. Okay, so now our 3 types of field sheet are ready to print. So we've got metadata, trees, and lianas. And you can see there are some other worksheets within the file which you might find useful. There's the tree census notes, so it's just a list of every tree that has census notes recorded in one of the censuses. Some teams find it useful to print this out and take to the field as well. But more importantly, we've got the protected tree field sheet. So this you can't delete or edit or reformat. It's protected. So if you think you've made a mess of your tree field sheet, you can easily go back to the original and see how it was originally downloaded. And then you've got the same for the lianas, a protected liana field sheet.